Hello YouTubers, subscribers, and friends. Welcome to my channel. I seek out the truth. Check out all these grass here. It looks like something has been laying in this grass. You can see it's all flattened down right here. It's a big old circle here. I don't know what it is. Something big though, because I get a lot of wildlife in my property in the late evenings and early mornings. But I lived here 5.5 years and I've never had this stuff growing here, ever. And just want to show you, this is the front part of my property. Never have had this stuff. It's always been just dirt, just like that. But look at this stuff, man. It's growing wild, man. I never used the front of this property. It used to have cactus, prickly pear cactus, and I cleaned it all out. And look at it. Since I cleaned it out, people pull off the road, do U-turns. I have people doing donuts in my yard and stuff like that. And I decided, you know, I'm just going to leave this stuff looking wild like this. Because I've never seen it. It's always been dirt. And it's the weirdest thing. This stuff is like growing like crazy. My neighbors, they come from the back. They drive over this bump. They drive through here. You can see the tracks here. And they drive in here and they do a U-turn and they go check their mail. Since this grass has been growing like this, they don't do that. But last night my wife was saying to me that when am I going to cut this grass if I'm going to clear it out? And I'm like, why are you asking me that? You never said anything like that to me before. And she said, well, you know, the Mrs. Kravitz, that's not her real name, that's just what I call her. You know, from Bewitched, an old TV program called Bewitched. Mrs. Kravitz, a nosy neighbor. Well, not only is my nosy neighbor nosy, she's crazy. And I got the grass growing right here too. My wife was out walking the dog last night and she called my wife over. Let's check on this dove right here. Still sitting on the eggs. It looks gloomy, like it's gonna rain, but it's supposed to be almost 80 degrees today here, even with these rain clouds coming in. But here's the back portion of my yard too, and the grass is growing. You can't even see my solar lights. So anyway, Mrs. Kravitz was, my wife was walking the dog over here, and she called my wife over, and she said, when are you guys gonna cut your grass? She's always trying to tell us what to do on our property. When are you guys gonna cut your grass? Because it's looking kind of wild. And my wife didn't say anything, and she's like, well, you know, if you don't cut the grass, the snakes will come, and you know, that could be dangerous for my horse and donkey. I'm like, my wife's telling me this, and I'm like, I don't give a fuck about her damn donkey and horse. But she then changed the subject from that, because my wife wasn't saying anything, to my next door neighbor over here. He bought this property about a year ago. He's a big, heavy-set guy, older guy, about 67. He used to be a mechanic. He had a garage, and he bought this property a year ago, and he never did anything to this property. And in the last 2.5 weeks, he has been, look at the ants. He has been bringing in this stuff right here. All these vehicles here. And he just brought this U-Haul and trailer yesterday and backed it in here. And it's driving her crazy. It's making her nuts, because she likes to control everybody in this area right here. None of my neighbors like her. None of them. She's gotten into fights with them. She's gotten into fights with them. She's called the cops on all of us, even myself, for stupid things. And she told my wife, she gave her all this information right here, how to contact the county. And I live 35 miles from Tucson, and I definitely don't live nowhere near the city limits. She gave me, my wife, this right here called zoning complaints, where it's located at, and who to call. Ask for Rick, and Rick will come out here and find this guy, because she's saying that this property is not zoned for junkyard storage, as she told my wife. And my wife is not saying anything. My wife's just listening to her. And I threw this stuff in the garbage. I just took it out of the garbage because I'm like, fuck that shit, man. If this stuff drives her crazy, I'm all for it. I'm not going to join up with her and start filing a complaint against my neighbors. I get along great with all my neighbors here because I don't care what they do. You know, it's their property, their land, they do whatever they want. As long as it doesn't interfere with me on what I do with my property, I could care less. Both of these neighbors here like to have wild parties and play music 3, 4 o'clock in the morning. It doesn't bother me. Why? Because they're doing it on their property. We live out in the country. We don't live in the city. And I don't care. That's why I live in the country, to get away from people to complain about every little bitty detail. You know, I'm out here on my property, minding my own business. You know, I don't go complain to her over there when her horse is yaying. Freaking, 4 o'clock in the morning, her donkey is running up and down her yard there going, oh. I mean, you can see in some of my videos, it's in the background as I'm trying to make a video. It's annoying. And her damn rooster crowing all different times of the day, man. You know, I've never once complained to her about that at all. Even when her dogs had broke out of her yard, her house, and came, ran out her gate and came into my yard and started messing with my dogs. Never once have I said anything mean or done anything mean to her. Of all the neighbors that live here, I've always been the nicest person to her. Somebody keeps throwing Budweiser cans in my yard. I don't drink. But so I told my wife thought, what do you think of this complaint here? I'm like, well, number one, I don't care what this guy does over here. That's his property. It doesn't bother me. I can't see unless I come out here and look at it. And pretty much, I like this big truck myself. I wouldn't mind having that myself. And that trailer, I could use a trailer like that too. I haven't seen the guy in a long time. I just seen the people that are dropping this stuff off. I'm wondering if he'd be interested in selling it though. But number two, if this stuff pisses her off and irritates her, I love it. I hope he brings more stuff, because it doesn't bother me one bit whatsoever. That's where I ride my motorcycle when I come home, come right in here, go through there. So my wife started laughing when I said that. So I said, if she thinks I'm going to join forces with her and start filing stupid, code violations against my neighbors who live out here in the country, who have never done anything negative to me or caused any problem. I mean, look at it. This neighbor over here. He's got a bunch of crap over there. He's got like 5 homes on 1 acre of property, 3 or 4 sheds. And this trailer right here, this is new. I've never seen that before. Because I don't care. I don't go around looking at what my neighbors are doing. There's my dog Jerry. Put that right under file. I'll file that right under T for trash. Mind your own business, what I say. So my wife, I told my wife, don't even talk to her, because every time my wife walks Jerry here, she's always yelled at my wife and called her mean names like gook and slant-eyed, because my wife's Indonesian, she's Asian. She's a very racist woman. She's attacked not only me, my family, and now she's trying to pretend to be nice, so she thinks that we will. If she saw that, she'd probably flip. That's where I throw my trimmings. I trim my tree here, because I can't fill my trash can. I'm waiting for it to get old and die, break, and then I'll set it on fire. But yeah, very racist woman, very nosy racist woman. And yeah, this is just weird how all this green grass stuff here is just growing. And the windstorms have broken my tree. Excuse me. Tore up my cactuses here. I have to clean this stuff up. But I haven't seen any snakes in a while. Even though I hate this tree, it's an ugly tree. I won't cut it down because it blocks the view of Mrs. Kravitz. She can't look over here. When I first bought this place, it was this tree so tiny she could see over here. And crazy woman. Anyways, I'm ranting and rambling, but that's what's going on with my crazy neighbor, Mrs. Kravitz. This stuff is driving her nuts, and it's just, man, this is making me laugh and smile, because he's got a lot of cool cars over there too, man. He's got a nice Corvette sitting over there. But yeah, throw that crap in the garbage, man. And when I see this guy, I'm going to tell him, keep bringing more stuff, man, and put it more over towards her side of the property, because that just drives her nuts. She's a control freak, and she tries to control us people who live here. And I told my wife, I ain't cutting that stuff. I'm gonna let that stuff grow wild because I know it drives her nuts. And she's pissed off at me before. If you look at my previous video, she built this wall right here to block the flow of the river here when it rains and then monsoon season and stuff, and it floods all the way, comes all the way up to here. And she has told me that she's gonna flood me out because I had tried to sell my house one time, and she came over to my house, knocked on the door, and offered me $10,000 for this house, and I told her no thank you, I'll pass, I'm not interested. And since that day, she has been a bitch to me, and she's done everything in her power to try to flood me out, and it doesn't work. She's tore up the water meters many times, and the water meter company has come, and she's now put a sign that says Turtle Sanctuary. And even the county has, because she won't answer, she won't go to the gate, she won't answer the phone. The county has called me up and told me that she's crazy, and I think they just gave up on her because normally they would tell you to tear that down, and they haven't. And that was last monsoon season. So yeah, I'm just gonna let this stuff grow wild. You know, she says she's going to tell anybody who tries to buy my house, if I ever try to sell it again, that it's not worth the money and it needs to be burnt down. So after last night, my wife just, I told her, don't walk the dog over there no more because that woman is very mean to you. Don't even give her any kind of acknowledgement. But man, now I'm glad that my wife told me that stuff is driving her crazy, because this woman is driving me crazy for so long. And now the grass is growing. Oh man, it's so beautiful to me, this grass now. I love it. I love this crazy grass growing because it's making her cuckoo, making her nuts. There you have it. I ranted enough, but that's the newest thing going on with my crazy neighbor, Mrs. Kravitz. I'm gone. Thanks for watching.